Maybe that's why. Let's turn that off.
Oh, I think we are.
Hey, this is Sir Charles Carey. I want you to join me on
the
Tuesdays at 7 p.m. for the Tru-Mu podcast, True Music. That's where we talk about all things.
I'm a musician, singer-songwriter, producer, engineer.
All things creative.
Me and my co-host, Carl T. Smith, the smooth one, will be glad to hear you, glad to talk to you, answer your questions, and talk all things music. The Tru-Mu podcast, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Be part of the energy.
Your warm embrace. I can see that thing that makes men stop, stand still, all in denial, suffer loss of will.
Wow. Okay. I guess because of the rain, the internet is being a bit fickle, but we ain't gonna worry about it. We ain't gonna do like Millie Vanilli it on the rain. Nah, we just gonna keep moving forward. Hey, folks, it's Tuesday, so you know it's time for the Tru-Mu, True Music podcast, where we talk about music, creativity, and all things that are innovative. And today, I think this is the second, if not third time, we've had a repeat guest, Sharese Reid. She is an awesome vocalist. I heard her myself, so that's how I know. She is an author, a new author. So we're going to beat up on her about being a new author and get some insights on who she is, what made her write a book, etc., etc., etc. What's going on, Mr. C?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good, you know.
All right.
Taking it second by second.
All right. So look, don't hold back on her because you're familiar with her. Just give her the business. All right. Give her the business.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today, Sharese Reid. There she is. Hey.
Oh, hello.
Did you hear us talking junk or hear me talking junk?
Oh, I heard you.
That was him by himself. I wasn't in
all
there.
of that.
Okay. How you been doing?
I'm good. Just, been working and just like you said, taking every day at a time.
Yep. There you go. Look.
That's all I can do. Too much going on.
I must admit, not that this is difficult, but I'm so used to digging deep and 10 toes down on music. I know I'm trying to take my mind into the other area of the arts, which is the writing. And we know you've got a new book, Third Quarter Moon. I did not make it all the way through it, but I did some reading and I found it quite interesting. I'm like,
you did. Awesome.
You must be a school teacher in her past life.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's like the way that you write, in my opinion, I'm reading your writing, and a lot of times, a lot of authors, new or otherwise, might not realize the importance of your voice in your written work. And it may even sound crazy. What do you mean my voice? It's written, it's typed, it's print. But your voice, the way that you speak, should come across, for the most part, in your literature, in your literary creativity. And I think yours does that. There's so many things I could talk to people about writing because I've been fortunate enough to have written several books. And in reading your book, I was like, okay, this is interesting. It sounds like her. So what has the feedback been so far?
I've actually gotten really good feedback from my book. My mom was the first. So she heard me recite. It's the very first piece when you open the book called my 90. Oh gosh,
my PG in the 90s.
My PG County in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I performed that one, and so she heard it before she read it. So she said when she read it, it did not read as well as I performed it. So that was one feedback that I thought was good because it just helped me to, go back and, reread it and say, okay, I could have done this. And, and I want all types of feedback because this is my first book. And but
You hear
other
that
than
call? Don't take it easy on her. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
listen, give it to me. Give it to me straight. But yeah, for the most part, I've gotten some really great feedback. Um, I had a friend who said to me that in one of the, well, maybe one or two of them, she had to close the book because it evoked an emotional response for her.
Okay.
So I said, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
you never know how people are going to be impacted by your stories, by your writing, by your thoughts, your mind,
For sure.
all of those things that you're putting into a work of art. You never know who's going to be impacted, nor how they're going to be impacted. So it's just nice to hear so far that the feedback, people felt it.
You know, I was not taken aback, but of course, when you first get the book, you don't know what to expect. So when I
Right.
saw the poetry, I was like, oh, okay. You know, it reminded me of my very first book. My very first book, only thing is mine wasn't, my first book was entirely poetry called Poetic Expressions. But I was like, okay, so it's spoken word, it's poetry. Okay, cool. And then as I started reading the breakdown, I think my PG in the 90s, I was like, wow, I started literally having the visuals of the places that you're talking about, which is good. I mean, it actually, even though I don't know the area extremely well, but it put me overall like off Central Avenue, made me think of routes to get to the places you're talking about.
Nice.
And yeah, exactly. And I thought that was really well done. And I can imagine you saying, oh no, go over 214 and then you go, you know, whatever the directions could be. So I thought the visual that it engaged my brain with was really well done and well expressed. So that was really good. What you got, Carl?
So how long did it take to write this book?
So I don't want to make it seem like it was a rush, but it took me about 6 months.
Okay.
But some of the pieces I had already written, and well, I'd say about 3 I had already written. And you know, you look over it and you rewrite, you change this, you change that, and some parts I added, some I took out, you know, so there's always a revision process. But this being my first book, it was just it was time. And this is something I've always wanted to do, always knew I was going to do, but just didn't get the pull to do it. But this time around, it just, I had some things to say, and it just, I said it. So it didn't take me long to write it. And part of me felt like, okay, should there be more? Because I have more writings, but I didn't want to make it something that it wasn't, just to fill the pages. And so I decided to leave it as is. And that's what came of it.
Nice. I think you did a good job. How does it feel to you being a new author?
It feels good. Here I go pondering. You got me last time on that one. It feels great, mostly because it's something that I have wanted to do in it. And earlier, as a young adult, finishing something was always a challenge for me. And so I am in this era of my life where I am finishing things. And this book was one of them. And so I don't think that I have this very prominent response to being called an author or feeling like an author. I just think that I am enjoying putting myself out there and being open and allowing people to experience some of my life experiences.
Well, I say well done. Well done. You know, again, from what I read, it was engaging. Again, it invoked images of this area. And I know that, well, from speaking with you, I know it's probably been a few weeks, you have started some signings or kind of like a book tour or something like that.
Yeah, so I do book events. My first book event was in Charlotte. I thought that, why not? My parents live in Charlotte, so
Sure.
it would be a good opportunity to visit them, spend some time with them, and I got to see Mesa afterwards, so that was dope. But then there's another book event in Suitland that's coming up in November. But I'm doing research. I am, putting my bid into the events. I'm starting to uh, look. Work with libraries and trying to get my book in the libraries and bookstores, but it's a process. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes
Yeah,
persistence. So
for sure. I was reading some of the poetry, and even though it really, well, some of it probably is short enough to be considered a haiku, but the style reminded me of the haiku format.
yeah,
Are you a haiku spoken
I
word?
know. Yeah, so those are, you're talking about In the Garden and Little Girl in the Garden. Those are both haikus.
Yeah, okay. Look, I shouldn't say it, but I don't like haikus. That's probably because it's probably because I
What
don't
a way to what a way to encourage the guests. Come on, man.
Oh no.
It's
I
not.
love
Listen,
haikus. No,
it's
honestly,
not for everybody. When I
but
first,
yeah, and my thing is honestly, a lot of times people, doesn't matter what it is, we stay away from what we're not good at, and I'm not good at it. So it's easy to say I don't like something because I can't do it. Just like music,
right,
some songs you don't sing, I can't sing that, and whatever. So you kind
right.
of like diss the song, but
Well,
it's
have you
still
tried to do it, or you just have been turned off by it?
at that. Well, honestly, at the time when I first, because I used to do the spoken word circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Annie's Art Gallery. I had my own place called the Wordplay Wednesday in
Okay.
Forestville. And I would go different places, sometimes Montgomery County, wherever the happenings were, Waldorf. But honestly, I'm more of a rhythmic poet,
Mm-hmm.
rhymes or not that haikus are not meaningful, rhymes or sort of like spiritually meaningful poems that might go down a different direction, because haikus can go any direction. I already know that, but I never challenged myself,
Yeah.
so I suck at it. So that's no, that's the long and short of it. That's the truth. I'm trying to redeem myself because I don't want people to think I'm hating on haikus.
I heard of haikus many years ago, and then I did some research on it just to get an idea of what it was and why they had to count like that, and just not really understanding the origin of it. And after doing that research, I said to myself, okay, this is it. It made me intrigued and more interested in at least attempting to do it. But those poems, specifically, I did in haiku because it was important to not say too much, because those moments in the garden were very still, very quiet, and it was very much me and God. And so there wasn't a lot of words being spoken. It was just spirit. So that is the
Make
reason
people
why
think too hard.
haiku.
Look, you're making people think too hard, trying to say, "Oh, that's deep." I think. Is it? No, I'm like, man, I don't. Look, I don't.
Everything has meaning.
No, look, it's purposeful for the reason it was created. My perspective is neither here or there, because there are people that really love haikus, and I think everything has its place in space or place in time, and everyone's just not good at. I mean, I've done enough stuff. I ain't gotta be good at everything. I'm you know what I mean? Take my hat off to those who are, for real.
Or those who try.
Oh, and that too, absolutely. Because I know some guys. Oh man, what's his name? I can't even think of his name, but Poetry Man. He's deep. He's good. David, the Uncrowned King. In fact, the three of us did a show together. We put on our own show. But there's another brother. I can't think of his name. And they used to come by my spot, and I used to go visit Annie's art gallery. But they are deep in it and massive followers. And they're just skilled. They're crafted at haikus as well as other poems that are theatrical in nature. So I feel like that. So did you also do the circuit or a circuit for a time?
What are you referring to?
Like
just
spoken
like
word.
spoken word and all of that. No. So I don't really have the time to do that, and my publisher told me I needed to make the time for it because it's a good way to promote the book and just get
Absolutely.
my face out there, my name, my voice out there. But I got a lot of I'm wearing a lot of hats, so I am working to carve time out for that level of promoting. My intention is not to be big or to be well known. I just want to put my voice in the atmosphere. That's it. Because everybody has a voice, and that's one of the other reasons why I published my book, because there are people who have things to say. They have something to say. They have something to write, but they're more eloquent with a book or a pen, and they're not always confident to speak what they feel or what's on their heart or what's on their mind. And it's a way for me to say, you know what, you can do it too. Just put pen to paper and talk to me. If you need help finding someone to publish, you can self-publish. There's so many different ways to just put your voice out there. And that's really what it is. I wanted to leave my imprint on this earth somehow. And this is one of the ways that I'm choosing to do that.
Well, due to the fact that it's still kind of new, kind of recent, I'm going to have to side with your publisher and then think that you need to go ahead and push the envelope a little bit so that it becomes memorable, even if you don't pursue it more, because you're probably already familiar with what Jill did. She mixed her poetry with her music, and I thought that was just fly because just because, you know. Just because it's something that people didn't do. And I don't know, I think I may have mentioned when I was doing the spoken word bit, I took my spoken word and then I put it to different music genres. And then I did poetic music videos, which, I mean, it may be common now, but at that time it really wasn't.
Right.
And I enjoyed it because that's the creativity in us, I guess. I just enjoyed it immensely. And it'll always be there. Sometimes I run across it on YouTube. I'm like, wow, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever. Oh, wow, look how many views this has, whatever, So do you think, whether it's spoken word or not, that there will be another book possibly coming?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, look at you.
That's why I wanted
good.
feedback, because I think that's important if you're trying to reach somebody, and you need to know if you're reaching people. So I'm also, I'm always a student. So I still study the craft. I'm still reading, discovering authors that I've never heard of, poets that I've never heard of, and reading their work and just immersing myself in creative writing, because it gives you inspiration, it gives you ideas, it really does open you up to finding your own voice, and then realizing, oh, okay, so I can just sound like me. I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, everybody has a different tone. And I think that that's so important. And that's in just, discovering different artists that was one of the main takeaways for me, that everyone has their own voice. And
Yeah.
you have to be intentional about speaking your voice and nobody else's.
Yes, Sister Joy Alford, she's another poet that is kind of big in our area. I've done shows with her down at the Martin Luther King Museum. That was several years ago, but there's so many, like you said, there's so many people with different voices, different styles, and you just have to be open to being your authentic version of you, and it makes a lot of sense. So, what you got, Carl?
So, what type of poetry that you do?
What type of poetry do I do?
Yeah, because I know we used to do the hottest poets up here. We used to do it like every week. So I noticed that there are different kinds. There are erotic poets. There are political poets. There are there are crazy poets. There are nutty poets.
So right now, in this iteration of my life, I am doing very personal poetry and writing. So a lot of it is about journeying, finding yourself, discovering, rediscovering, who you are, finding your worth and living in that worth and being proud of who you have become and grown to, new beginnings and all of that. So that is where I am right now. So that's kind of
would
where.
that be like motivational poetry?
Yeah, it's motivational, but
like
it's
if I was going to a library and and there was one section that I would need to go to find your book, it would be the section of what?
I guess it would be motivational, but I would, if they have a poetry section, I would like to be placed there. If it's just general poetry.
No, I mean in the poetry section, but they may have different, I'm thinking of it just like in music. There are different,
different
genres of music and stuff like that, and and somebody might need to need your book, and so we look for it in a certain section. All right.
Yeah. I guess.
And the next one would be,
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, and the next one would be in the same vein, the same line. You would continue on in the same path that you did this last book.
So I'm not sure yet. I am at a cross between a novel. I definitely want to do another poetry book, but I really want to do a novel. And I'm not quite sure where that's going to take me.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is to bring in real life experiences and create the storyline and make it, whatever it's going to be. I don't quite know. It could be love, a romance. It could be a mystery. It could be a number of things. It just, but I'm open to it. What I learned is I don't want to, especially at the start of it, decide what it's going to be and where, the exact places that it's going to go. I just want to write and form it and shape it as I go. So.
Well, we better start holding on to our coins, because that sounds like you got a couple of books in you.
I got something to say.
Tell me something good.
No,
That's what's up. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the problem with you creative people. Y'all always got something to say, something to sing about, something to write about, something to act. Takes one to know one, right? Yeah, we are a fickle breed, I must admit. But I'm grateful that I'm in that group of people, because as frustrating or stressful as it can be, it's so liberating at the same time.
Yeah.
It can be so liberating, because when you think about the thousands, if not millions, of people that can't do what we do, and I'm not saying it from a a braggadocious perspective or a perspective of being high and mighty, but I just think that it's an honor and a blessing to have the ability to create your art, whatever kind of art it is, doesn't matter. And because people want to be entertained, they want to be soothed, they want to be able to adhere to, as they say, music soothes the savage beast. People want to be able to come somewhere where they can let their hair down and just be cultured, and that's what writing and singing and playing music and lyrics, it does all that. It lends itself in so many different ways to the multitude of personalities that this world has, so yeah.
Creativity has a very important place in this world, and the people who have decided to express themselves creatively are the people who have pushed revolutions, and they've pushed the agenda of love and connection. They've pushed that forward, and I think that's so important, especially to figure out who you are as a human being, as a person in this world, where you stand and how you fit in. If you feel like you fit in, if you don't fit in, how do you express that in your art? And I think that's what makes creatives very integral in this world, on this earth.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
My good friend Cheryl Carr wanted to know who you are. She jumped on. Thank you for your time, Cheryl. Cheryl, we are speaking with Sharese Reid. She is a on-time vocalist. She is an author, realtor. She does quite a bit, and we're just honored to have her here, sharing her time with us. Her book just came out not too long ago, Third Quarter Moon. Which kind of want to find out a little bit about that too. She said, for some reason, my most inspiration comes at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I have to write then. Wow. Okay. Is that you too, Sharese?
Inspiration for me comes in many forms at any time of the day. But I have heard many people say how oftentimes they are woken up by whatever was, in their bodies, and they've had to write it or they had to sing it. And that has happened to me many times before, where I couldn't sleep because I had this, my mind was just toiling and I had to write it down. So I have a little, on my phone, I use my phone, I use a journal, my computer. It depends on where I'm at, but I don't discriminate. If it comes to me, I find a way to put it down. So I feel you, Cheryl. 3, 4 in the morning sometimes.
Look, that's an ideal song right there. How many songs have you lost, Carl? Because you didn't get up and write it down.
Too many. Too many. I said, I'll get up. When I get up, I'll get it right. Never happened.
So I have a question for Cheryl. Is she still on? What type of inspiration do you get that you have to write it down? Is it a word from God? Is it something about love? Is it poetry? Are you writing a song? Or I'm just curious.
Cheryl, if you're out there, there's a question. What kind of writing are you being nudged to scribe at 3 and 4 a.m.? I was just with Cheryl 2 days ago because she's celebrating her birthday. And yeah. In fact, her birthday is the same day as my youngest sister. And I went up there and met up with her, as well as a bunch of high school friends from yesteryear. And we got it in. I performed several tunes, and they
Nice.
had a great time. I had a great time. I was surprised because I didn't know everyone that would be there. So, but Cheryl, if you jump on a little bit later, maybe you can, before we get off, you can tell us the kind of writing that you do. So I wanted to get back to the book a little bit because I believe when you talk about all the pretty dresses and
Mhm.
while on my journey, you talk about Auntie D and Uncle D. I found that pretty interesting too, because again, I got the picture in my mind about, we all got those uncles or
Yep.
aunts or big brothers that look out, or that we remember from back in the day. And
Mhm.
I just found that I was like, wow, that was really kind of well done, well written, well described. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, it's relatable, and especially all the pretty dresses. That one was special to me. I didn't want to write, a long drawn out um, piece, but those dresses in particular were very special. And at the time, I appreciated it, but not as much as I do now, you
Mm.
know. But that first chapter, It Takes a Village, that's what it's all about. It's the aunts and uncles, and they're not even my blood aunts or uncles.
Okay.
These are family friends who they didn't literally take me in, but they took me in, and they treated me as if I was special at a time where I grew up with old school parents.
Okay.
Like I said in the first poem, what goes on in the house stays in the house.
Oh
So
yeah, I
it
remember them
wasn't,
days.
you know what I mean? So it wasn't a whole lot of healthy relationship and emotional building. And, it just was not a healthy environment for
Okay.
any child to be raised in. And so because my parents, they were church folks. My dad was a preacher, so we went to church every Sunday, and we communed with people at the church, and that's where we met them, at the church. And they just left such an imprint on my life and on my heart, and just being there for me. And it wasn't like an everyday thing. We didn't talk all the time, particularly Auntie D, all the pretty dresses, but whenever I would see her, she'd have something, a beautiful dress for my daughter. And it was just, it was just really me honoring their presence in my life at a time that I didn't even know I needed them.
Mm.
So I
That's
thought
all
it
right.
was important to honor them in my book.
Yeah, no, that's all right though, because I think those relationships that we experience from time to time, we have no idea actually what's going to come out of it, how it's going to impact us. And so just like I can reflect on things I experienced or learned years ago, ain't never
Mhm.
used it, ain't never had a reason to necessarily bring it up, but now the topic may come into my life now I can draw back on that, and then it's like, wow, that's meaningful. And you don't know what's going to be meaningful necessarily, it just is meaningful,
Right. Right.
so
Yep.
yeah, wow, that's interesting. So I guess you already got your Valentine's stuff, so uh, Valentine's coming around again, so you're gonna get them flowers again too,
Listen,
huh?
every year.
Man, see, I felt when I
Always
read that,
sending
I
some
felt
flowers.
bad. I felt like, dang, because I don't do that for my daughters, and I felt like,
Mhm.
man, I've never, I can't say never gone above and beyond, but in my mind, I've never done anything special enough
Mm,
having two daughters.
mm,
I can feel in many cases the connection and the need for me in their lives. Like when they need me, I kind of have this, I can't explain it, but I have a feeling, a sense, a sensation, and I call them and we have just normally the best conversation, no matter what time or how long it lasts. And I get a yearning or earning that they want me, and I reach out to them, but that's a nice touch. And I like, man, you a jacked up dad, Charles.
I'm sure you give to them the way that, you know, they need to be, you love them the way they need to be loved. I'm sure the attempt is there. The intention is there. For me, my father and I did not have the best relationship growing up.
Okay.
And again, you know, one of the things that he was intentional about was Valentine's Day. Even as a child, it's just me and my brother, and but he would honor my mother and I every year for Valentine's Day, and that was his moment to offer love
Okay.
and gentleness and care.
Mm.
But you know, all the other days were different. But
Mm.
again, you know, and my father and I have a great relationship now, you
Right.
know, but it's those moments. And even though it, you know, may feel or seem small to him, for me, it really is in a indication of his persistence to keep trying to love me well, love me better
Yeah.
than he did growing up. And I never, you know, we've been able to have conversations as I got older and more courageous to have those hard, difficult conversations with my father.
Uh-huh.
But we, you know, even to this day, we're still learning each other. And I am working on getting comfortable with receiving his care with hugs, and he'll sometimes kiss me on my cheek, and I struggle with that to this day. So it's things that when he does these things like Valentine's Day, and
Uh-huh.
he ensures that I get those flowers every year, that is what I hold on to. And I mean, obviously now our relationship is better, so it's little things that that are adding up, and you know, but that's like the anchor that keeps that boat floating.
Well, what I'm hearing is that it's a grooming or healing process
Yes.
that's still in process because you're
Yeah.
speaking to it openly, you're speaking
Yep.
to it comfortably, and you see it for what it actually is.
Yep.
And being that he's, I'm assuming, a traditional or either maybe a boomer,
He's a boomer.
yeah. So maybe it was difficult because of the way he was raised. You know,
Yes.
a lot of the old school, I'll say cats for meaning men and women. The old school cats, they weren't comfortable loving, even to say "I love you." And
Right.
to me, just talking about myself, to me, that's crazy. If you love somebody, let them know. Because I always
Mhm.
tell my kids, I'm crazy about my kids. They grown and now even my son, I grab him, kiss him, and he don't pull away or nothing, but
Right.
they know I mean that joint
I know.
to the core, to the core.
Yep.
I love my kid. Even if they look, they may not be showing up the way that I think they could or should,
Yeah.
but I love them jokers deep and desperately. I mean, I love my kids, man.
See?
I don't care who hears it, and anybody that knows me or ever hears me talk about my kids, you can take it to the bank. Oh, Charles love his kids.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I'm serious, man.
Yep.
Wait for that. Oh, you soft because whatever. My kids know.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
they don't know, that's because they don't want to know, or they want to try
Right.
to play some kind of game with their own head. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm all
Yeah.
in, Jack. Look,
I
we could
know.
talk. We could change this whole conversation. Talk about how much I love my kids.
Oh.
Nah, but that's just real because I just think we all live once, and if you have children, regardless of how many, you know that they need to know who they are. They need to know that they are important. They need to
Yeah.
know that they matter. They need to be encouraged. They need to be shown, even though peer pressure will make them feel like you ain't got to listen to them, or they don't know. They're going to go through those phases, but it's just important. I think. So
I think in order as parents, in order for us to truly love our children well, so we can love our children, but that does not mean that we love them well. We love them as far as we can love ourselves. And so I think that the most important part in parenting is being honest with who you are, and that is also the motivation and inspiration for my book. I am honest with who I am. I know who I am. I search myself every day. And that for me is, it's powerful and it's necessary in order to truly love me and to be able to love my daughter well, the way that she needs to be loved in order to feel adequate, feel powerful, to feel confident in who she is as a young girl, even and also feel be okay with exploring her own identity and not not limiting herself. Like those are the things that are important to me for her. And so I would not be able to give her the space to do that if I was still dealing with my, childhood traumas. So
yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But see, kudos to you, because again, you're addressing the elephant not in the room, but in your life, or the elephant in your house, because I don't think sometimes us as adults, we don't realize this experience or that experience, what it actually did to us. And we may wonder, okay, life does teach us things, but did you realize what life taught you was because of this experience or this experience? Then it's like, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way.
Making those connections is so
important. Yeah. What you got, Carl?
So, just a nosy question now. How old is your daughter?
She just turned 14 Sunday.
14?
14.
You're about 14 yourself.
Thank you.
Cool.
My daughter is 14.
So what do you have coming up next?
Coming up next, honestly, I am going to put forth an effort in promoting my book. So I'm gonna focus on that right now. And but trust and believe, I still write. I still have pages of writings. That's why I said, I think my next book is gonna be a novel, because there's some things brewing and coming together. So I'm still writing. I still have this song that I want to start working on. When I posted that little clip of me singing, one of the a studio engineer hit me up and was like, "Come on, we gotta do this." So I said, "Okay, maybe I can start working on that song." But we kind of gotta start from scratch. I still have the lyrics. We have to create a new melody and all of that. So I may be working on a song too.
Nice.
Okay.
So what's I know what's been 2 months, 3 months that you've been an author, your book's been out?
August 11th or August 9th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a good month
About
and change.
Mm-hmm.
The events that you've gone to, that you have either book signing or a promo, whatever it was, how did you prepare for that in comparison to preparing for a singing engagement? What is the difference?
I have never prepared for a book event, so I had to do some research and just look at pictures. That was the type of research that I did to find out what I needed. And all of this was kind of last minute, because it didn't dawn on me that I needed a display. I needed
like a banner or something.
A banner. I needed a tablecloth. I needed something to put on the tablecloth other than my books. So it wasn't much. doing events, and maybe not book events, but I've done events. So planning for it wasn't difficult at all. Now, the difference with a singing gig, there's so many other things that come into play with that. Just lyrically, you gotta your lyrics, know your song, and then the outfit, it has to be a certain type of outfit, so it's just a different type of preparation. But I've been singing all my life and gigging all my life, so it's become second
Do
nature.
you when you do have a music engagement, do you sleep more, sleep less? Do you have a certain diet, certain things you eat?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Singing engagements, I don't. I lay off the cheese and the any dairy. I don't do a lot of acidic fruits. Um, so I just keep it real simple, super simple. But and I don't eat fried foods, greasy foods. All that will tear your voice up. So
yeah,
I just keep it simple. But I still eat. I try to pack food now because I learned that I can't sing on an empty stomach.
same here. Same here.
Yep. So yeah, as I get older, the preparation changes a little bit. I need more items to bring with
Right.
me.
I got you. I
but
got you.
but yeah, so that's the difference with that.
Do you still get nervous when it comes to singing?
Sometimes when I'm not prepared, not fully prepared, I'm more nervous than not. But usually once I start singing, and I mean, you know it. Once you get in there, you sing the first song, you mess up a
That's
few
it.
times, crack, you strain, and all of that. Okay, cool. But after that, all right, I got the jitters out. Let's keep it moving. Now let's rock. So
Yeah, no doubt. I didn't realize that you was a homie from New York, Long Island.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
What
Yep, I
part?
was born in Long Island. Didn't spend a whole lot of time there, but I was born there.
It's all good. It's all good. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, I went to school in my college years was Long Island City. It was a short run, but
Mm,
went to LaGuardia Community College out in Long Island
okay.
City, and lived in Uniondale a little bit before I came to the DMV. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no doubt.
Nice.
All right, so you're going to commit to promoting the book a little bit more,
For sure.
which means some live performances here and there. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you the events that you did do. Did you, of course, you spoke about the book maybe, or did you just,
Yeah,
you know,
I read poetry. I read pieces out of my book.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
share something with us tonight, like a
Oh, for
haiku or
sure.
something?
Sure. Let's see. I mean, you already read my PG, but
That's
most,
okay. That's a good piece, I think.
yeah, I think so too. I'm getting a lot of hits on that one. So I'll do my PG in the 90s.
Nice.
Jumping out of Arborview apartment window, shortcutting our way to the 7-Eleven across the street, we hung out all summer eve on Brinkley Road at the entryway of Building 201, sitting on the rotted farm fence, showing off our ghetto tudes, smells of apartment hallways. I smile at the pungent whiff of nostalgia, remembering the brief moments of freedom before pitch blackness. The street lights must not been working those nights, or maybe the moon held off on our behalf. Peeing in the bush because the little white boy said I could. Maybe his daddy ain't teach him the old adage, what goes on in the house stays in the house. Or maybe he wasn't raised on beatings and secrecy. Either way, I got my ass whooped that day. We lived off spaghetti and roasted chicken during the week, and the weekend eats came free from families' part-time jobs at Pigs in a Blanket, Popeyes, Little Caesars, and Black Eyed Peas. Rivertown employed us as we explored the family five-finger discounts, sticky theater floors and seats, Kmart clothes shopping as we sipped on cherry slushies, boring linen store perusing, bank deposits and withdrawals, glass bottle of Pepsi and a pack of Newports. Take this $10 and fill up on 7. Black folk, black folk, black folk. We always stuck together. So many memories of my PG in the 90s. Gotta run down Eastover right quick, get some braiding hair and blue magic for the Fridays. Smells of burnt hair filled the air, kitchen necks and sizzled cartilage from my ear. You better keep still before I slap the black off you. Mama was lethal with that hot comb. I was cussing her ass out of my head though. Saturdays morning, bacon permeated our home, eggs cooked in bacon grease with flimsy slices of Kraft cheese. We were always broke, but never poor. Dad gets the first waffle. Tradition was king. 2 to 3 waffles each for bro and me. I always tried to keep up. Sunday dresses, shiny shoes, dolled up for sunrise service blues. Sunday afternoons, Dad's mac and cheese, overcooked green beans, taters, and dinner rolls, smells of fried chicken grease embedded in our clothes. Begging to go outside every day, playing hide and go seek and relay race, baseball with a tennis ball and a pole from the clothesline, backflips off the neighbor's hill, handlebars and no seat having bike rides, racing after ice cream trucks, 4-foot market 5-cent candy fill-ups, climbing trees and Negro knocking. Don't be coming in and out of this house, letting all my air condition out. Water hose drinking, Mary Mac singing, streetcar dodging, double dutch jumping, hopscotch skipping, dirt pie making, caterpillar holding, firefly catching, and we never missed a beat. What y'all know about my PG in the 90s?
Nice.
Let me find out.
It's nice. Very nice.
That was hot right there. Yeah. Now I have a confession. When I read it, I didn't really read it as poetry.
Right.
I read it as your story.
Yeah.
I mean, it still is, but it's just
Yeah.
that it still created that visual in my mind, though.
Yeah.
It took me there, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Well,
and it was my story. When I first wrote it, it wasn't intended to rhyme.
Mhm.
But then
as
as
you
I
kept writing the story, it came out just like that, right on time.
it did. It did. So right on
Rhyme
time.
on time.
Look at you rhyming.
There you go. You know, I couldn't refrain from doing that. But I give my shout out to all those from the poetry centers and the poetry locations all around the DMV and the poets all over the world, like Brother Malcolm, Derek Johnson, Big Homie, Dion Massey, Sister Joy, Poetry Man, David the Uncrowned King, T, and the brother I was trying to remember earlier, his name was Just Me. Yeah, so yeah, definitely in a good space. You would fit in perfectly. Yeah, they would definitely embrace you in your style, especially knowing that you have the other secret weapon music too. Woo! Yeah, done deal. But I just want to thank you for sharing your time with us, and hopefully someone out there that, you know, sees this conversation, you can pick up her book and, you know, run away with it. You know, hope it does for you what it's done for many of us. Third Quarter Moon, Sharese Reid. Where can they get the book?
They can find the book on Amazon. The publisher website is thebookbutler.com/Sharese Simone, or you can just go on thebookbutler.com and look at the new release books. My book is, I think it's the 3rd new release. You can go on BAM Books online. It's in
Oh, really? BAM?
Yeah, BAM Books, Barnes and Noble's online. So it's everywhere. You can just Google the title of the book. And so it's Third Quarter Moon, Matters of the Heart. So you can Google that, and you can buy it wherever you feel comfortable purchasing my book, but mostly Amazon and thebookbutler.com.
Nice, nice. All right, folks. Well, Carl, you got any closing comments?
I wish you good luck.
Thank
I got to
you.
get my autograph and all that other stuff before you blow up.
You're funny. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, folks. Until the next time, you know how we say, be part of the energy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You're sexy, so good to me.